Baby, you can stay like all day. What we can do if you want to, and I can put the bill. Oh, I just wanna chill and let old girl take a backseat. Yeah, all yours. Let's go. What I would do if you let me. I take controls of a reptile, and I know I'm so. I'll take the charge, will you arrest me? The main event got the best seat. Hands down.
You know what it is. It's your man Jay Woo, Philly Jams 95.3 FM. Who Got Next Radio? Right here, WCMD Media, 1656 Kane Ave, Camden, New Jersey. This is episode 2. I know you had a good time with episode 1. I know, because I saw the analytics. I appreciate everybody and the support that you gave us. But this is episode 2. Today, we're going to get right into it. All right? We're going to continue talking about COVID and systemic racism. That is the big topic here. But we're talking about the reopening. Shout out to Governor Murphy and the governor of Pennsylvania and the governor of New York, surrounding states around New Jersey. They all agreed as well. So we're going to talk about the lifting orders. We're also going to talk about what that means for business owners, and not just any business owner, the black business owners. Wakanda forever. I'm just joking, but no, for real. So we have a nice little segment called Black Owned, and shout out to Miss TY. She's going to head that off. We got the SCYFLI Smoke Shop. 9 years in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. So we're going to find out what the lifting orders did for them and how they got their business back. Second, we have independent artist, songwriter, R&B singer, and BTAMF artist, Sash-P. The interview right here. I did it. It's going to be great. You'll see it. And then we have our closing segment called Be a Better Leader. We also hit the street and we wanted to talk about the debate. So stay tuned. Here it is. Let's get right into it. Episode 2. Governor Murphy, what's up on them restricting laws?
Next today, I am signing 2 executive orders that will put us even more firmly on our road back. These orders complement the actions we have already taken to begin our restart and recovery, and will set the stage for the days to come. Today, the stay-at-home order, which has been in place since March 21st, is being lifted. With more and more of our businesses reopening, we are no longer requiring you to stay at home, but we are asking you to continue to be responsible and safe. And when you do go out, please continue to wear face coverings and keep a social distance from others whenever possible. Effective immediately, indoor gatherings will be permitted at whichever number is lower, 25% of a building's capacity or 50 persons in total. And all attendees at indoor gatherings must wear face coverings and stay 6 feet apart. We are also looking ahead. I anticipate being able to raise the limit on non-protest and non-religious activities to 250 people on June 22nd and to 500 people on July 3rd.
So now that we have the lifting orders, we're able to come outside, 25% occupancy. I'm going to throw it out to Miss TY for her segment, Black Owned, to check out the SCYFLI Smoke Shop.
Greetings, Black-owned New Jersey. My name is Ty, and I'm a co-host on Who Got Next Radio. Today, we thought we'd take a break from the music and bring you something special. I am standing outside of SCYFLI, one of your Black-owned retailers for all of your smoking needs. They are located at 4201 Church Road, right off of Route 73 in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Come with me. Let's go inside and talk to the owner and see what type of products they have to offer. All right, so we are inside SCYFLI. I'm here with Mark. Andre is in the back. Mark, tell us how this business got started.
Well, in 2012, I was out of work for some time. It gave me a lot of time to think. I wrote a business plan, and it was a SCYFLI Smoke Shop here. It took me about a year of planning and cooperating with my mother here. We got the shop up and running by April 2012, and we've been kicking ever since then.
So just about a year.
Yeah.
From 2011, 2012.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I know from being a customer here that this shop offers just more than products. You guys provide an education as well.
Yeah.
What kind of education are you providing to your customers?
Well, when we start with, say, cannabis or CBD, for instance, CBD is a very popular product right now, but it is a confusing product right now. So we have customers that come in, they've heard something like it helps with anxiety or it helps with pain. So when they come in here, we're going to give them a full rundown of CBD. What the cannabinoid is, how many of them there are, how they interact with each other, how it could or could not benefit you.
Tell us about some of the products that you do offer.
Well, that is a lot. So right here is the glass wall. It's kind of the main attractant. We have glass from several $100s to affordable glass for the everyday person. We carry a large line of tobacco for hookahs. That's also a very popular product we have. Right here are e-cigarettes for cartridges. We don't sell e-cigarettes per se, but we do sell the batteries for CBD and THC oils. We also have on the other side of the store a large line of storage over here for bongs and pipes. If it deals with oil and it's in a pipe, we can clean it. The smoke odor section. So these are smoke odor eliminators, sprays, and then we move on to our kratom, which is right here. Kratom is a leaf that's grown in Southeast Asia, and it's used for thousands of years for pain relief. And then you have our CBD. This is our CBD on this section here and this section here. Over the years, we've grown our CBD line as we've learned more about it. There's a ton of CBD out there, and not all of it is effective. So over the years, we've kind of honed our line till we have something that's really good. All these products we trust in.
This is pretty much a one-stop shop for everything that you could possibly need. Now, this is a Black-owned family business. So how is working with family beneficial for you? And tell us some of the pros and cons of it, or some of the obstacles that you kind of had to get over.
Yes. Well, I started on my own. It was just me, and my mother provided the initial investment for me. And I started by myself. And the first few years it was okay because I could do it as one person. But as we grew 3, 4, 5 years, it became increasingly hard for me to do everything.
Right.
That's when my mother offered to step in and help take some of the load off.
Right.
Now, that wasn't the easiest transition because I'm not the easiest person to work with. But that learning to work together with my mother has been one of the best things to come out of this business for me.
All right, so I am actually here with Mark's mother, Andrea. We were just briefly talking about, giving back to the community, and I'd like you to hear what she has to say about how SCYFLI is giving back to the community.
We contribute at this point to a lot of first responders. We have support for our firefighters, our local police, our state police. We've been doing that since the business has been up and running. We also have Bikers Against Child Abuse. They have an annual drive. We are part of that drive annually. A lot of their members come to the shop and refer families to the shop, so we've been doing that. We are about to start our Get Out the Vote campaign, so it has to go strong for the next 3 weeks. We hope on November 3rd to be at a voting location in Camden supporting our African American folks who are there and standing in line. We know people are going to be waiting for hours, so even if we're there just serving hot dogs and water,
We're still helping.
We're going to be there supporting someone. So
Absolutely.
we are greatly involved in the community.
Can you tell us a little bit about your work with the Cancer Center Treatment in Philadelphia?
Cancer Treatment Centers of America called us several years ago because they had gotten feedback from a couple of cancer patients about the kind of experience they had here in the shop and the assistance that they got. A lot of cancer patients are using cannabis and CBD for the first time. And they needed to talk to someone whom they could trust, who understood the science behind it. I coordinate their therapy, helping them to understand how to combine their cancer therapy with cannabis and or CBD.
Can you guys tell me, any advice that you have for our young entrepreneurs out there that are just getting started and want to be where you are, that aspire to be where you are?
Yeah. A lot of people think that this is something easy. We've had a lot of folks come in and go, well, what does it take to get something like this started? They don't realize the many, many things involved in this. First of all, you have to have a great credit rating. You can't just take a few dollars and throw it at this. Just to get this place open, day one was over $100,000.
Wow. Okay.
And then you have to find the right people to work with you. You got to get yourself into the community and learn who the vendors are and who's making all of this. It is not something easy. So many of these businesses have failed because they did not take the time to peel back the layers on how to run a business successfully.
I think you literally just explained a lot why a lot of businesses do fail. Having a plan is nothing if you can't execute it properly. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Andrea, Mark, I really appreciate you letting me come in here.
Sure.
Guys, if you have a Black-owned business that you would like spotlighted, please hit us up. Who Got Next Radio 95.3 FM at gmail.com. Thank you so much. All right, guys, that's a wrap. We just finished talking to Andrea and Mark of SCYFLI. Don't forget, they're located at 4201 South Church Street in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, right off of Route 73. Come here, get everything that you need, all of your smoking, all of your lifestyle use products, all of it located right here. Over and out.
All right, you know what it is. It's your man, J. Woo. I want to send a special shout out to Andrea and Mark over at SCYFLI Smoke Shop in Mount Laurel. I appreciate it, guys, and I hope that I can be a consistent customer with you guys. Discount? Nah, I'm just joking. We want to support and give 100% for Black-owned businesses. So I appreciate you guys, and I also appreciate Miss T.Y. Thanks for the interview. That was great. So our next segment, we're going to go into the main topic from episode 1, and it's going to be a consistent topic on this show for this year, which is systemic racism. And starting with the senseless killings of unarmed Black people in March with Breonna Taylor, and then again in May with George Floyd, I just wanted to figure out, what is the resolution? I mean, we can talk a good game, we can put bills and laws in people's names, but are we really making a change? Sports are back, baseball, basketball, hockey, even college football's back. So I don't really feel that we are really catering to the issue. I think that we're trying to sweep it under the rug and make people happy. But let's just check in and see what the update is with Breonna and George Floyd.
At the center of the case, whether a search warrant for Taylor's home was issued properly. Police records show the warrant stemmed from Taylor's communication with ex-boyfriend Jamarcus Glover, who was the target of a narcotics investigation. The release includes audio tape of a jailhouse conversation on the day of the raid between Glover and a woman identified as the mother of his child. In it, Glover says he had not been in touch with Taylor, further calling into question the justification for the raid.
Man, Bree ain't been around each other in over 2 months, damn near 2 months.
The one thing I want is accountability. Growing up, that's what I was taught. Be accountable for your actions. If you do the crime, you do the time. So why is it different for these guys? It shouldn't be different. The only overdose that killed George Floyd was an overdose of excessive force and racism by the Minnesota Minneapolis Police Department.
But in court, you heard Benjamin Crump there reacting to some of what happened in court. In court and through court filings, we learned that some of the defense attorneys want to argue that George Floyd died because of a drug overdose as opposed to the asphyxiation caused by the knee on his neck. And as you heard the attorneys for the family there and the family members themselves say, they feel this is an attack on his character. They feel like they're trying to kill George Floyd twice, and they say they're not going to stand for that. And you saw they very adamantly spoke out against that.
Okay, so there's the update with that. Not surprised, we're not getting a lot of traction. So I feel like we should look to our leaders. We should look to the leaders and the people that run this country and figure out what they think about the senseless killing of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd.
As we mentioned at the top of the program, President Trump taped an interview with CBS News before his White House session with Reporters Day. In one exchange, he talked about both the Confederate flag and the number of white people killed by the police as compared to black people.
President Trump, back in 2015, you said the Confederate battle flag belongs in a museum. Do you still believe that?
All I say is freedom of speech. It's very simple. My attitude is freedom of speech. Very strong views on the Confederate flag. With me, it's freedom of speech. Very simple. Like it, don't like it, it's freedom of speech.
Would you be comfortable with your supporters displaying the Confederate battle flag at political events?
You know, it depends on what your definition is, but I am comfortable with freedom of speech. It's very simple.
But you understand why the flag is a painful symbol for many people because it's a reminder of slavery.
Well, people love it, and I know people that like the Confederate flag, and they're not thinking about slavery. I look at NASCAR. You go to NASCAR, you had those flags all over the place. They stopped it. I just think it's freedom of speech, whether it's Confederate flags or Black Lives Matter or anything else you want to talk about. It's freedom of speech.
Let's talk about George Floyd. You said George Floyd's death was a terrible thing.
Terrible.
Why are African Americans still dying at the hands of law enforcement in this country?
And so are white people. So are white people. What a terrible question to ask. So are white people. More white people, by the way. More white people.
So there you have it, the president's words. Such a terrible question. More white people are dying. Are they really? Thank you for Anderson Cooper, CNN, for actually bringing out the real statistic.
Well, obviously, the second part of the president's answer deserves some context as far as police killings. According to a study published in 2018 by the American Journal of Public Health, adjusted for population, black men are 3.5 times more likely to be killed by the police than white men.
But again, I don't like to rely on media, even though I am a media outlet. I want to spend a little bit of time to give you a little more education on what systemic racism is. A question was brought to me about when's another time that you actually use the word systemic? Gave me a stump. I shout out to that guy in Pennsauken because I couldn't remember another time that I would use it. So let's take a little time right now to dig into it. Thanks to my friend Alex Sequoia at act.tv, we broke it down and we're giving it to you. Alex, run it.
This is Jamal. Jamal is a boy who lives in a poor neighborhood. He has a friend named Kevin who lives in a wealthy neighborhood. All of Jamal's neighbors are African American, and all of Kevin's neighbors are white. Because Jamal's school district is mostly funded by property taxes, his school is not very well funded. His classrooms are overcrowded, his teachers are underpaid, and he doesn't have access to high-quality tutors or extracurricular activities. Kevin's school district is also funded by property taxes, so his school is very well funded. His classrooms are never crowded, his teachers are very well paid, and he has access to high-quality tutors and lots of extracurricular activities. Kevin and Jamal live only a few streets away from each other. So how come they're growing up in such different worlds with such different opportunities for success? The answer has to do with America's history of systemic racism. To understand it better, let's look at what life was like for Kevin and Jamal's grandparents. Decades after the Civil War, many government agencies started to draw maps dividing cities into sections that were either desirable or undesirable for investment. This practice was called redlining, and it usually blocked off entire black neighborhoods from access to private and public investment. Banks and insurance companies used these maps for decades to deny black people loans and other services based purely on race. Historically speaking, owning a home and getting a college education is the easiest way for an American family to build wealth. But when Jamal's grandparents wanted to buy a house, the banks refused because they lived in a neighborhood that was redlined. So Jamal's grandparents were not able to buy a home, and because colleges could prevent them from attending through legal segregation, their options for higher education were really scarce. Kevin's grandparents, on the other hand, got a low-interest loan to buy their first house and got accepted into a handful of top universities, which traditionally only accepted white students. This opened up a wealth of opportunities that they were able to pass on to their kids and grandkids. Even as late as the 1980s, an investigation into the Atlanta real estate market showed that banks were more willing to lend to low-income white families than to middle or upper-income African-American families. As a result, today, for every $100 of wealth held by a white family, black families have $5.04. A 2017 study confirms that redlining is still affecting home values in major cities like Chicago today. This explains how Kevin and Jamal inherited vastly different circumstances. Unfortunately, the story doesn't end there. A big part of systemic racism is implicit bias. These are prejudices in society that people are not aware that they have. Let's go back to Kevin and Jamal. Against all odds, Jamal manages to be the only student from his high school to get accepted into a great university, the same one that Kevin and his high school friends are attending. But after Kevin and Jamal both graduate, Jamal notices that his resume isn't drawing as much interest as Kevin's, even though they graduated from the same program with the exact same GPA. Unfortunately for Jamal, studies show that resumes with white-sounding names get twice as many callbacks as identical resumes with black-sounding names. Implicit bias is one of the reasons why the black unemployment rate is twice the rate of white unemployment, even among college graduates today. You can see evidence of systemic racism in every area of life. The disparities in family wealth, incarceration rates, political representation, and education are all examples of systemic racism. Unfortunately, the biggest challenge with systemic racism is that there's no single person or entity responsible for it, which makes it very hard to solve. So what can you do? The first thing you can do is work towards becoming more aware of your own implicit biases. What are some prejudices that you might hold that you're not aware of? Second, let's acknowledge that the consequences of slavery and Jim Crow laws are still affecting access to opportunity today. As a result, we should support systemic changes that create more equal opportunities for everyone. Increasing public school funding and making it independent from property taxes would be a great start, so that poor and wealthy districts can receive equal access to resources. Systemic problems require systemic solutions. Luckily, we're all part of the system, which means that we all have a role to play in making it better. Peace.
Thanks, Alex. I appreciate that. I hope we can get a better understanding of systemic racism. We all live here, and we're all closer than what we think. And that's another reason why I wanted to hit the streets and find out from the general public how we really feel. Let's take a look at the debate. Let's look at our leaders. Biden, Trump. Let's look at the vice president candidacy of Harris and standing Pence and find out what they think.
We have ended that segment. We're going to go to the next segment. In that segment, you each are going to have 2 uninterrupted moments. In those 2 uninterrupted minutes, Mr. President, you can say anything you want. I'm going to ask a question about race, but if you want to answer about something else, go ahead. But I think that the country would be better served if we allowed both people to speak with fewer interruptions. I'm appealing to you, sir, to do that.
Well, and him too.
Well, frankly, you've been doing more interrupting than he has.
That's all right, but he does plenty.
Well, less than, sir, less than
plenty.
No, less than you have. Let's please continue on. The issue of race. Vice President Biden, you say that President Trump's response to the violence in Charlottesville 3 years ago, when he talked about very fine people on both sides, was what directly led you to launch this run for president.
Oh, yeah, sure.
President Trump, you have often said that you believe you have done more for Black Americans than any president, with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln. My question for the two of you is, why should voters trust you rather than your opponent to deal with the race issues facing this country over the next 4 years? Vice President Biden, you go first.
It's about equity and equality. It's about decency. It's about the Constitution. And we have never walked away from trying to require equity for everyone, equality for the whole of America. But we've never accomplished it. But we've never walked away from it like he has done. It is true. The reason I got in the race is when those people, close your eyes, remember what those people looked like coming out of the fields carrying torches, their veins bulging, just spewing anti-Semitic bile, and accompanied by the Ku Klux Klan. A young woman got killed. And they asked the president what he thought. He said there were very fine people on both sides.
1994, where you call them super predators, African Americans, the super predators, and they've never forgotten it. They've never forgotten it, Joe.
No, sir, it's his 2 minutes.
So you did that, and they call you a super predator, and I'm letting people out of jail now that you have treated the African American population community, you have treated the black community about as bad as anybody in this country. You did the 1990, and that's why, if you look at the polls, I'm doing better than any Republican has done in a long time, because they saw what you did. You call them super predators, and you've called them worse than that.
I want to return to the question of race. Vice President Biden, after the grand jury in the Breonna Taylor case decided not to charge any of the police with homicide, you said it raises the question, quote, whether justice could be equally applied in America. Do you believe that there is a separate but unequal system of justice for blacks in this country?
Yes, there is. There's systemic injustice in this country, in education and work and in law enforcement and the way in which it's enforced. But look, the vast majority of police officers are good, decent, honorable men and women. They risk their lives every day to take care of us. But there are some bad apples. And when they occur, when they find them, they have to be sorted out. They have to be held accountable.
This month, your administration directed federal agencies to end racial sensitivity training that addresses white privilege or critical race theory. Why did you decide to do that, to end racial sensitivity training? And do you believe that there is systemic racism in this country, sir?
I ended it because it's racist. I ended it because a lot of people were complaining that they were asked to do things that were absolutely insane, that it was a radical revolution that was taking place in our military, in our schools, all over the place, and you know it, and so does everybody else. And he would know.
What is radical about racial sensitivity training, sir?
If you were a certain person, you had no status in life. It was sort of a reversal. And if you look at the people, we were paying people hundreds of thousands of dollars to teach very bad ideas and frankly very sick ideas. And really, they were teaching people to hate our country. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to allow that to happen. We have to go back to the core values of this country. They were teaching people that our country is a horrible place, it's a racist place, and they were teaching people to hate our country.
All right.
It's gone up on his watch.
Went down much more than ours.
All right, we're not. Mr. President, you're going to.
China. As you know, today there was a big problem. In Philadelphia, they went in to watch. They're called poll watchers, a very safe, very nice thing. They were thrown out. They weren't allowed to watch. You know why? Because bad things happen in Philadelphia, bad things.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator. Let's go on and talk about the issue of racial justice.
I just want the record to reflect she never answered the question.
In March, Breonna Taylor, a 26-year-old emergency room technician in Louisville, was shot and killed after police officers executing a search warrant in a narcotics investigation broke into her apartment. The police said they identified themselves. Taylor's boyfriend said he didn't hear them do that. He used a gun registered to him to fire a shot, which wounded an officer. The officers then fired more than 20 rounds into the apartment. They say they were acting in self-defense. None of them have been indicted in connection with her death. Senator Harris, in the case of Breonna Taylor, was justice done? You have 2 minutes.
I don't believe so. And I've talked with Breonna's mother, Tamika Palmer, and her family. And her family deserves justice. She was a beautiful young woman. She had as her life goal to become a nurse, and she wanted to become an EMT to first learn what's going on out on the street so she could then become a nurse and save lives.
Well, our heart breaks for the loss of any innocent American life. And the family of Breonna Taylor has our sympathies. But I trust our justice system, a grand jury that refused the evidence. And it really is remarkable that as a former prosecutor, you would assume that an impaneled grand jury looking at all the evidence got it wrong. But you're entitled to your opinion, Senator.
Whew, you had to admit that shit was funny. I didn't want to do too much interrupting, but that was crazy. The only person that I really feel like embodied the answer that was asked was Harris. Biden tried, but when you have a joker up there on the podium interrupting you over and over and over again, it's not hard to get distracted. And I feel like he wasn't able to deliver that concrete speech to me so I could feel it. But then when I watched the vice president debate, I got a different story from Harris. Pence, he answered, but his answer was cold. And I don't believe that is the resolution that the entire country needs. I think a small portion feels like he does. But when you vote and you try to put leaders in charge, I would think that you would want someone that was for everyone, not just for a few people. So here's why I wanted to hit the street. And let's go to our next segment, which is Who Got Next on the Spot Live. And we're going to ask regular people how they feel about the debate, COVID, and is it really systemic racism in America? Let's find out. You know what it is. It's your man Jay Wu, Philly Jams 95.3 FM. Who Got Next? We're on the spot live. And I have a question. Did you see the Trump-Biden debate?
Yes, I did. Yeah, it was a little crazy.
Did you learn anything about the candidates?
That they know how to interrupt each other.
Okay. Did you guys see the debate between Trump and Biden?
Yes, saw the comedy show.
Did you learn anything from the debate?
That they were against each other.
Sir, did you get a chance to see the Trump and Biden debate?
No, I did not. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. You didn't miss anything.
Hold up, don't judge me. I'm on a thriftway bar crawl.
That's okay, sir.
All right.
We just want to know, did you see the debate between Biden and Trump?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you learn anything from it?
I learned that you can shut somebody up by cutting them off.
Okay.
That's just about it. I didn't learn anything.
Sir, did you see the Trump and Biden debate?
Yes.
How do you feel about it?
Trump's the motherfucking man.
Did you see the Trump and Biden debate?
I did, yes.
Okay, and what were your thoughts on it?
I thought it was really disorganized. Showed a lot about Trump's kind of childish, I don't know about you guys, but I thought he was very unprofessional, especially as a president. Like, he can't have debates without talking over people. I'm sure a lot of people already saw that, but that's...
Definitely had no regal presidential feel. How do you feel about COVID and it's affecting your family?
I think it's a crock of shit, and I think it's a big scheme by the government.
How do you feel about COVID and how's it affecting you and your family?
To be honest with you, I work for the state, the government, I got paid. I didn't go through these worries that a lot of people were going through.
How is COVID affecting you and your family?
Just my job-wise, I've been home, but besides that, nothing else.
How do you think COVID is affecting you and your family?
I think it's affecting in a big way.
How you feel about the COVID and how things is going on with the world?
Man, I feel like with COVID, man, this shit getting crazier and crazier. So like every day, some new shit popping up.
And how do you guys feel about the COVID and how's it affecting your family?
I mean, we're trying to adjust our work schedules since we were off for a little bit. Getting new jobs has been hard for us, but in the meantime, we're living at home. trying to figure it out.
Stay at home is fun?
Yeah, it's great. I have a 100-pound puppy that's making me busy.
Now, how is COVID affecting you and your family?
Well, I got laid off, but I've been okay so far, thankfully. But I know that a lot of other people don't have that like kind of fallback when it comes to being unemployed. But other than that, I've been okay.
Yeah, it's systemic racism. It goes all the way up, dog. Like the judges, everybody's all combined into some kind of thing, man, and it's just weird. So, it's weird.
Do you believe it's systemic racism in the world right now against blacks?
Hell yeah. We always had a thing against black people, you know what I'm saying, because our skin color, but we gonna prosper.
Final question. Do you believe there's systemic racism in America along with the George Floyd and the injustice with Breonna Taylor?
Oh, 100%. No doubt. Yes, it's all over the place.
Wow, that was an eye-opener, all right? And I want to shout out to everyone who participated. There was a lot of people that participated off camera. I can understand what film does to you, a camera eye, the lens. You don't really want to be seen. I get it. It's awkward to talk about these situations because if you come out and you show transparency, then you're worried about what people will feel. But for me, I want to know how you feel so I can interact with you properly. All right, moving off of that, let's get into a lighter note. As I told you at the top of the show, we have an independent artist interview today, BTAMF artist, songwriter, song singer, independent artist, Sash-P. We did it right here at the Dare Academy in Camden, New Jersey. Take a look. You know what it is. It's your man, Jay Wu, Philly Jams 95.3 FM. Who Got Next Radio, WCMD Media, right here, 1656 Kane Ave in Camden, New Jersey. Besides me, I have an independent artist like no other, Sash-P, BTAMF artist, songwriter, singer, and R&B diva. How are you doing today?
What's going on?
Oh, everything.
Glad to be here.
I'm glad. Thank you for having the time to give us, our humble station, an interview. So I have some questions here. Wrote it here on paper, and we're going to get right into it. Are you ready? Let's go. Take us back to the beginning. When did this start for you? When did you begin to start to sing?
I've been singing really pretty much since I could pick up a brush and really belt. My sisters used to always be like, get out in front of the TV, your mom don't make glass. And I never knew what it meant, but now I see. But I was in the way all the time, but I didn't care.
Now, what made you start? Was it church? Someone in your family? Inspiration? What? Like, I'm just gonna sing tomorrow. Hey, start.
Actually, no. Like my mom, she had vocals. Rest her soul. She passed away from pancreatic cancer in 2011. She could sing, and my dad played the bass in a band. That's how my mom and dad met in a bar. So, that's really pretty much, I think, where I got it from. When I was younger, I was raised in the church, but I was too afraid to sing in the choir. Okay. So I really didn't sing in the choir, but I got to hear the choir. I was inspired by the choir.
Nice. So starting at 12 in a house studio and then getting into a real studio at 15, when did you feel inside here like, okay, this is not a hobby, I believe I can actually do this?
Yeah, so I mean, I pretty much knew this is what I wanted to be since I was, like, when they'll ask you what you wanted to be when you grow up in school, I would always say singer. But like, my first time in the house studio, like I sang a record on the mic and I was like so nervous that you could hear my heartbeat in the vocals, so I wasn't ready. Okay, but when I got to that real studio when I was 15, it came out pristine, and I knew from that moment on I can do this.
Okay. Right here, I want you to do a little fact check with me, okay? Because I did some research. I see you're from New Jersey, All right, you already said you started at 15. You graduated from Lindenwood High School, and then you went to Philly for nursing. But you're a singer. So is this why people think you're from Philly, or tell me what's up with that?
I left Jersey when I was 17.
Okay.
That's graduation year. And I did go to nursing, but I did the nursing in Jersey.
Oh.
But I did move to Philly though.
Okay.
I was traveling back and forth. I've really been in Philly since I was 17. And I came back and I went back. you know.
Because I see your Instagram as Sash-2152, too, so I didn't know. And then Go Time's from Woodbury, so I really didn't know until I went and did the check. But thanks for correcting me.
Yeah.
So now, let's get into the music, all right? First, before we get into the music, all right, how has COVID and everything that's going on with the mask on, mask off, social distancing, stay at home, come back to work, how has that affected you with your music, your life, and your family and everything?
Well, I mean, COVID has really been good to me. I've been blessed not to be touched by it. My family's been blessed not to be touched by my immediate family. I will say my Jersey family did catch it. They survived it though. They survived. But as far as the work ethic of COVID, that virus made me able to hone in so much on my music that I've been able to complete so much more than I ever have been able to.
So here's what I want to ask you. Listening to your music, I picked up my own opinions, but I want to ask you, what type of genre of music do you think you create?
I came in the game R&B because I've been writing my own music from the start. I came in the game R&B, but as of right now, I am universal. I'm pretty much universal. I got a lot of surprises.
Okay. Who would your dream collab be? Industry, give me one industry artist, and then give me one independent artist.
My dream collab would be Whitney Houston because I want to learn from her. I wish I could learn from her. I wish she was still here. Rest in peace, Whitney.
I forgot she got horns. She got horns. Yeah. Now, on the independent side, who would be a dream collab for you?
Joe Rivers. She from the city of Camden. What's good, Joe? We ain't collab yet, sis. Let's collab.
CMD, let's set that up. And let's do it on Who Got Next.
Yes.
Let's get right into the music. I've been holding you guys enough, but I just wanted to break the ice with her. So, first song I got and that I listened to, Yin.
I know you wanted my love, baby, it's yours. You can have it all, babe. I said you can have it all, babe. And if you know that for sure.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you my take. For me, soft tone, beautiful tone. I loved it. The music came on right as I needed it to. The drop came in right as I needed it to. It seemed romantic. I'm single, but it seemed romantic, and it flowed to me like a story. So, in my estimation, it felt like one person was looking for a match, and not just like a match, but you had to fit like a puzzle piece. Is that where you were going with the song?
Pretty much. So, Yin actually came to me through the beat. The beat inspired me from the start. And Yin came to me from the yin yang kind of idea, and that's how we got Go Time to hop on it, because he's the yang and I'm the yin, and I came with the smooth. And you're pretty much right. Like, it's about me coaxing into that mill while that mill tells me that he's inviting the cooks.
I like that. I like that.
True love, that keep me coming back for more. That rude love, that hood love, yeah. Baby, I couldn't ask for more. No, you give me all that.
I have some lyrics, and I need to bust them down. We break down the bars here. So, Sash was like, that good love, or true love, that keep me coming back for more. Baby, I couldn't ask for more. So I gotta ask you, with strong lyrics like that, how strong was this love, and did it last? Because it seems serious. It seems
well, let me
serious.
start by saying it's actually the first project is chapter 1 and the second project is paragraph 2.
Paragraph 2.
Yeah, but
okay.
That record honestly was inspired by somebody else.
Okay.
Endeavor.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, it was about a fella being so 100 that you could not ever think about stepping out on him. Like, he kept you 100 by his 100ness.
Oh, okay. I feel you on that. So it's just about really keeping it real on both ends.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, I'm not going to check your phone. I'm not going to come out to your area and things like that. Like if you tell me what's going on, that's what it's supposed to be,
right?
And I give it back to you.
Right,
okay.
The understanding.
All right, so I'm not mad at that. That was a dope song, and I love the beat. Who did the production on that?
Appreciate it. 100 was produced by J.O. Beats. He produced that. This is all the BTAMF umbrella.
Okay. In-house. I like it.
Big body, four-wheel drive, swerving on the east side. You've been on my mind, heavy, babe. Giving all good vibes.
Now we're gonna get to this third song. Woo! Turn off the lights and light a candle. This was a KIT or KIT. Explain that. What is that?
KIT stands for Keep It Tight.
She said. All right. So now let me explain, because I listened to it. I'm trying to be biased. I'm trying to be the man and the lady and the interviewer. This is my flavor. This song right here. All right. I love a woman who's honest, who is real, and I love a woman who knows how to carry themselves in the presence of another man. So to me, this song, Keep It Tight or KIT, all right, kind of feels like in the world of BS, in the world of DMs, all right, this is, I'm not gonna have to worry about that because you for me and I'm for you, all right, and that's what I got out of that. It's a little risque, adult, I'll say, but I got the meaning behind it. And is that what we were going with the song?
Yes, like Keep It Tight is pretty much a record about a woman not aggressing the man, but letting him know, like, I'm with it, and if you don't want to like bring it to the light like that fast, we still rocking.
Right.
You know, that like that's what I meant by like we can hold hands if you want. We can show this off if you want to, but if not, let's just get a little dips, you know?
Like, it's nice to see a female or a woman say, hey, we can take it slow or we can go right out the door. You let me know, I'm with it. So I like that. Keep it tight.
I see you going out the door. Then again, I know I want more. And I just ain't feeling right. I got a real big appetite. I do not know. I do not know.
Home record. Now I felt this one, okay? Because I was a bit of a home wrecker. We're not gonna put that out there, but I understand what it is to be out here hopping like a bunny. And the lyric that caught me, I see you walking out the door, and I feel this. Then again, I want more. I just ain't feeling right. I got a big appetite. I just ain't feeling right. I don't want to wreck no home. I just ain't sleeping right. In the end, I'm always alone. Explain to me what you meant by that, because I feel you, but some audiences out there, they may need to catch up a little bit.
So that was definitely inspired by a real situation. I'm not gonna say it was me, but those lyrics are very deep because it's basically about a woman that has a man coming to visit her and they hanging out and she's falling in love with this man knowing that he has another family. And he's going there telling her that he's gonna leave, and she just knows in her heart he's never gonna leave, and they have all this fun, and then he goes home and she's alone again.
I was just gonna say, it sounds like it's some pain, like it's some truth, and it's some transparency involved. And I want to say in 2020, it seems like this type of song is happening for any and everybody. But it's also, I liked it because it showed the truth. It didn't glorify, you know, what we always see, which is let's get out here, money, women, fame, flash cars, and it actually hit the side of pain. Is that where you were also trying to tell that side of the story too?
Yeah, like I was just trying to show that women sometimes take more than they should be taking.
Men too, but I get what you're saying.
And it was like from the woman's standpoint, and I knew that from the production of the record, a man can relate to, because it goes for either side.
Right.
For real, because you settle for less when you lonely sometimes, and it's like you don't. It's like it's to show you, like, come on, you need to stop. You already know now he's not leaving. He's not gonna leave.
And sometimes when you try to cuddle up and keep it all together, this is just talking from my experience, you end up making that zero. That's That's what I call it.
That
It's
zero.
that zero.
The hug
'cause
pillow.
There's nobody. So don't be a home wrecker. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, I hope not. This is independent artist, songwriter, and R&B singer Sash-P. We're gonna wrap up because I don't want to keep it all day. But give me some of your social media. Tell me when the project's coming out. Is it available now? And then where can we find your music?
Yes, so my Instagram hashtag is @Sash_215. That's @SASH_215. On Facebook, you can find me at facebook.com/Sash215. And you can find me on Twitter as well, twitter.com/Sash215. And I haven't really been on Twitter that much. I gotta get back active. But like Instagram stole me from Twitter. Actually chapter 1 is out and available on all platforms too, like on Apple Music, Tidal, Spotify, Amazon, everywhere. And paragraph 2 is now out as well. And you can get that on all the same platforms. Actually, the link to paragraph 2 is in my Instagram bio, so you can click straight to it from the United Masters, and it'll be right there. Yeah.
And it's also an indie artist in rotation on Philly Jams 95.3 FM. So right now we're playing Be Real featuring Go Time. And then the next thing you know, we may play a little home rap. We may play a little Keep It Tight. You never know. Just tune in. That's every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. at PhillyJams953FM.com. All right. Any shout outs before we go?
Yes, I have quite a few shout outs. I hope I don't forget nobody. Forgive me if I do. But under the BTAMF label, shout out to Fam. That's the Fam right there. Wizzy, BTAMF, J.O. Beats. We got Go Time. That's Bro. Cobain, that's my bro. Ayo Kesey, J.O. Beats, if I didn't say him already. Blizz, he not BTAMF, but that's bro as well. So just know that. Over at Audio Boy, we got DJ Zeke Beats. I'm working on a project with him that's coming out real soon, an Evolution. Deja B is also a part of that project, and also Brill Gates is a part of that project. Also, I want to shout out to Tandem. You know, they honed me in at a time when I needed it most. So shout out to Matt over there at Tandem. Shout out to Lamont. Shout out to Rata. Shout out to everybody. Tandem, that's fam. Shout out to Black Sun. We got some stuff coming too. We actually just recently shot a video. Black Sun Beef is my producer over there. Shout out to him, and he's now rocking with Red Hand Studios, so shout out to Red Hand. And also my homie Matt from Tandem got a company named Juice Joint. Check that out, it's delicious. And who am I forgetting? I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. Everybody that know me, family, everybody. And I want to shout out to God and also you for having me.
Oh, no problem.
You for having me. Thank you.
Anytime. This is what we do at Who Got Next.
Why can't you be real?
You know what it is. It's your man Jay Woo, Philly Jams 95.3 FM. Who Got Next Radio right here at WCMD, Dare Academy, 1656 Kane Ave in Camden, New Jersey. Shout out to BTAMF. Shout out to Go Time, Wizzy, and Sash-P. That was a great interview. Everyone, like Trump, everyone knows we did a great job. It was beautiful. We're doing great things here in Camden. All right, I appreciate you guys tuning in for the second episode. And here's the last word. To get 100% out of Miss T.Y., DJ Satisfaction, Vanessa Lachey, and Pete the Greek, sometimes I get a little extreme.
Reporting live from the street. Sometimes before you actually go to work, it's a job to get to work. Now I call this motherfucker at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. And at 3:15, this motherfucker said he was still in the bed. You can imagine how angry that made me. So then, 10 minutes ago, he tells me he can get to me in 40 minutes or so. Mind you, the people who are waiting to be interviewed have been waiting since 4 o'clock. Who got next?
But I don't think this is the best way to motivate people. I want to say my camera guy, shout out to him, Pete the Greek. I take a lot out on him. Some of it is warranted.
See the shit I be talking about? about you not doing your motherfucking job? This is the shit that's gonna get you fucking fired. All you can do is smoke and fucking cough.
Sometimes it's not the player, it's the coach. So maybe I need to be a better leader.
Yep. Pass me the motherfucking blunt. Shit.
And we're gonna get into this segment of Be a Better Leader by Who Got Next. Let's take a look.
You think I'ma let you run my motherfucking blood pressure up. You also think I'ma let you slide and I do all the motherfucking work? Shit.